Hi, this is your host, Tara Ledesma, and
I'm Andy Ledesma.
And we are running your Gapers Delay podcast, and this is episode 12, and we're going to discuss loss. And the reason I chose loss is we recently had to put one of our dogs down. So I think everybody can identify with this. I think the first earliest childhood loss I remember was probably my great-grandpa. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, my great-grandparents, I don't remember the order in which they died. I don't remember either one of my great-grandpas, but I remember my great-grandmas. And I don't remember in the order that they died, but...
I don't think the order is, Yeah,
and I wasn't that close to them anyway. I would see them like a couple times a year, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I would see my mom's side a lot, but my dad's side probably about 50% of the time. So, and I think that was by design because it was easier for my mom to blend in with her own family than it was, my dad's side of the family. There's, as you can tell and probably agree with, there's a definite difference in those two sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really remember my great-grandparents' funeral on my mom's side. Like, I remember when my great-grandpa died, I didn't go to his funeral. I think I was too young. But my great-grandma's, I did go to. We called her Nani. I remember being too young and immature. Like, me and my other cousins were in the bathroom shutting on and off the lights. Like, yo, it's a disco. Not understanding the full concept of loss at that point.
Yeah, I would say that was probably the same with me for my both my great-grandmothers. Because I'd only see them a couple times a year anyway. So.
But that's odd that you say that because I know you've brought up to me that one of your great-grandmothers really took a stronghold on you.
No, that was my grandmother.
Oh, your grandmother. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you're confusing that.
Yeah, confusing. Okay, yeah, your grandmother. So what was the difference between then your great-grandparents and your grandparents then?
Well, my grandmother on my dad's side treated me like, the firstborn in royalty families and stuff like that, in a sense, I guess you could say. She just treated me as like, he's the firstborn grandson, so I got extra special treatment. And that's at least the way I always looked at it, I felt a major bond with her, and it was probably the most significant loss in my life was my grandmother. So
on your dad's side?
On my dad's side, yes, because it was a very strong bond with her.
How was your relationship with your grandfather then?
I mean, it was good, but when he had his alcoholic problems, he would come home from work and just yell pretty much for the most part. So, but then he quit drinking, and then we were able to have a relationship, and it was a good relationship after that. But nobody compares to my grandmother just because she made it a point to,
She had a heart of gold.
Yeah.
But at least your grandfather had redemption.
Yeah, he did.
That's a big deal.
He was a good guy. He just the alcohol.
Yeah,
changes people.
I mean, they say it's addiction and they say it's genetic. It might have had a stronghold on him he had no control over. So, I mean, you don't know his demons. They are what they are. What about your mom's side?
Well, I always had a good time with my grandfather. My grandmother was just a very quiet woman. I mean, I would talk to her a little bit and got to know her some, but with my grandfather, he always wanted to do stuff with us, so I remember going fishing with them and camping with them and everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, so he liked to do stuff with us as kids. So I have a good memory of him with that. That was like fun time with Grandpa. Grandma was loving and caring. I mean, my grandfather, I know he loved and cared me too, but he knew how to have fun with us. So.
I remember meeting all your grandparents. They're great people. Like, your grandpa that we were just talking about now when we lent him our car. We probably shouldn't have, but I mean, it's a story that's laughable, probably not talkable on this app, but it's a laughable story, but shortly after he was not driving, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, his license should have been taken.
But yeah, we learned some new things, but I mean,
yeah,
it was.
I mean, my grandparents were all very different, so they all played a different role in my life.
That's how my grandparents were. Like, on my dad's side, it was very, like, one was at the flea market every Sunday while my grandma was at church, and on my mom's side, it was, I don't want to say anything that would put me in court, so let's just leave that at that. So it was very different on both sides of the family. So I think a family member that once you lose them, it changes the whole family dynamic. And I think in my family, that was on my mom's side, my great grandmother, once she had passed, chaos had broken free. Did you ever experience that or no?
Not that I've noticed.
Well, you're lucky. That's lucky.
Didn't seem to be much of a dynamic change when anybody passed away that I recall.
So let's go to childhood and school then. I had a science partner that was, so a driver fell asleep on a highway and veered off onto high school property and killed one of the students that were practicing for soccer, who was one of my science partners. So that was one of my first deaths. Next to another was a suicide, which again, make sure you call the suicide hotline if you need any assistance. But she was pregnant and didn't want to tell her parents and thought that was the only answer out. And can you imagine, as parents, you would be like, no way, I will do whatever it takes. That is not, you know what I mean? But as a child, you think that's the only answer because you assume how your parents are going to react.
Yeah.
Did you have any, childhood friendship or teen year friend deaths?
I had, but we weren't really close at the time, so we kind of went down different paths in our lives, so we weren't really around each other for quite a few years before it happened. So
didn't you run into a relative of his recently? Because this sounds like
no.
In Manhattan or something?
No, it's just my old boss who was friends with his dad.
Oh, so there was...
No, that's why the name came up.
Oh, okay. I thought somebody was there related to him in some way.
No.
So they just knew him?
Knew
or
his father.
His father, okay. Oh. It's crazy how small the circles are in the south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think next was my sister, then my mom, then my grandma and grandpa. It was back to back chaos. And then somewhere in between was your Uncle Steve.
Yeah.
How close were you with him?
Not really, because he was a very quiet man and I talked too much, so I think he didn't talk much to me because I don't know. He just wasn't a big talker.
How often did you see him, though?
I mean, not a lot, but I know there was times when I did see him, I knew that I was talking too much, but I just kept talking to him anyway.
Why?
Seeing if I
You
could
were
get him to
excited?
talk. Well, I was trying to see if I could get him to talk to me. So
Which
I
is funny. I
annoyed him.
do. So he must have been shy, because I do that to shy people too. Growing up, I would always talk and talk just to see if I could break them.
Yeah,
So
I kind of did that with my uncle, so I'm sure I just annoyed him though.
I'm just finding out we might have something else in common. Who knew?
He
Interesting.
never said it or acted like he was, but I just kind of assumed he was probably a little bit annoyed with me.
I get it. Yeah, well, I mean, memories. My sister was a hard loss, and then it was like 2 years later, then my mother, then my grandmother after that, then my grandfather after that. So it was like back to back to back. So I'm almost kind of numb almost to it now. Plus with my 911. Oh, I think I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Oh no, I'm good. So, oh, excuse me, I sneezed. But outside of that, oh, excuse me again. Pardon-moi. I mean, we had a lot of dog passings. Like, I think your earliest dog that you remember was Charlie, you said?
Yeah, but he wasn't around when he died.
You just
took off.
assume, right?
Right.
Yeah, we talked about that in a past episode.
Yeah, so I just assumed he passed away. I mean, it bothered me for about maybe a week or so, and I moved past it.
For me, like, JJ is what I remember most significantly because I felt like it was my fault because we had that air freshener spraying right there, which unbeknownst to us was poisonous to him. Certain
Caused
brands,
neurological damage.
are very, toxic to humans and dogs and can cause neurological issues, which happened, so that sucked for him. And then I drove X amount of hours from Illinois to Texas to save Wilco, that one dog. And he ended up dying, 2 weeks later of distemper. But, I mean, he lived his first week eating steak. The second week, he was...
In the hospital.
But we did what we could while we could. And then we lost Leo not that long ago, and then just recently, this past Monday, was Mavis. So, which is why we chose this topic, because, even pets are like family. It's hard to let go, and they're a part of you, and you remember them, and they make you laugh, and they don't disappoint, and, dogs are really a man's best friend. So it does kind of suck from there.
Yeah. Well, I think I deal with loss a lot differently than you do. I mourn their loss, and I don't forget them, but I don't let it bother me after I get past the initial mourning of them. Like,
You
I
just kind of
think
let
about
go.
good memories about them every once in a while, and that's it.
I think I'm circumstantial. It depends on how the year's going, because I've had so many losses, like, to have a mother and a sister and people that are so close. It's different than somebody who has lived their life and you almost expect it to happen eventually around the time,
Yeah.
where I experienced it earlier with a science partner, and then with my sister, and then with my mother, then after that with my grandmother and my grandfather. So it was, I know what death looks like. I know what agonal breathing sounds like. I know what that breath, and I know some of you out there are going to know this, I know what that smells like. I know the process, and it sucks. But, loss is a part of life, and it's just something we just have to kind of create a new normal around and keep on going, because if we stop, then the whole world stops. Like, the world don't stop just because one person's gone. We got to keep going. Like on 9/11, they chose to do Saturday Night Live because the comedy must go on. Kind of like the same thing, It's almost like honoring those who pass. You can't let your life go at the loss of somebody else. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it depends on the situation and the person who that is in your life. Because I know if I lost you, it would, I don't know, break me, I think.
Yeah.
Big difference, because we spent so much time together and nobody knows me better than you, so.
And vice versa. And I think that's why it's circumstantial. Just like a sibling who may have had another sibling murdered, and it's unsolved, and you go the rest of your life wondering, I mean, where's the resolution in that? How do you find peace in that? How do you come to...
Rest with it.
Right, exactly. So loss is so circumstantial for every situation, but I think in my opinion, the best thing you can do is reach out to a support group and just find, because you're not alone. Everybody, I think, I know experiences loss to a degree. It just how they handle it, how they want to handle it.
It is different for everybody.
Yeah, so I think we'll end this episode by saying, for all of those we have lost, we miss you, we think about you, and we hope that you're living your best life wherever you are, and hope to see you one day. And for those that are listening to this, enjoy the everyday you get to live. Andy, any closing moments?
No, I can't think of anything.
No,
Yep.
I got you. All right, guys, till next time, have a great one.